Blood sugar doesn't scream. It doesn't warn you with sharp pain. It doesn't knock you down all at once. It works quietly. For many men, blood sugar feels like a later problem. Something for old age. Something doctors talk about, not something you feel today. You wake up. You go to work. You provide. You eat what's convenient. You tell yourself you're still strong. And most days, nothing seems wrong. That's why blood sugar is dangerous. Not because it hurts, but because it doesn't. It rises silently. It stays high quietly. And it slowly changes how your body works while you're busy living. Energy drops, but you blame stress. Sleep gets worse, but you blame age. Focus fades, but you blame work. Weight creeps up, but you blame metabolism. You keep moving forward, unaware that something fundamental is slipping out of control. A strong man don't collapse suddenly, they erode quietly. Blood sugar doesn't attack your strength directly, it wears it down, day by day, from the inside. And by the time pain finally arrives, it's usually not the beginning of the problem. It's the bill. Quiet discipline is about noticing the things that don't shout, the numbers that stay silent, the signals that require maturity to respect. This is not about fear. It's about responsibility. Because a man who ignores silent numbers is not being brave. He's being absent. Strong men are trained to endure. From a young age, men learn a simple rule. If it doesn't hurt, keep going. Tired? Push through. Hungry? Eat later. Uncomfortable? Ignore it. Pain? Walk it off. This mindset builds resilience, but it also creates a blind spot. Blood sugar doesn't challenge your toughness. It challenges your awareness. There is no sharp pain to respect, no injury forcing you to stop, no dramatic moment demanding attention, just numbers, quiet, boring, invisible numbers. And men don't like dealing with things that feel abstract, so we rely on feeling instead of measurement. If I feel okay, I must be okay. If I'm still working, I must be fine. If I can still provide, nothing's wrong. But blood sugar doesn't care how responsible you are. It doesn't respond to pride. It doesn't reward endurance. It responds only to patterns. What you eat repeatedly, how often you move, how long you sit, how poorly you sleep, how often you spike, and how rarely you recover. Strong men also miss warning signs because they normalize decline. Slower mornings become just aging. Afternoon crashes become normal stress. Brain fog becomes too much on my plate. Weight gain becomes bad genetics. Normalization is dangerous because once decline feels normal, discipline fades quietly. And there is another reason men miss these warnings. They don't want to look fragile. Checking numbers feels like admitting weakness. Monitoring feels like worry. Prevention feels unnecessary until it's urgent. But quiet discipline isn't about fear. It's about respect. Respect for systems you can't overpower. Respect for limits you can't negotiate with. Our respect for the fact that strength without awareness eventually works against itself. Strong men don't ignore silent warnings because they're careless. They ignore them because they were taught to endure, not to observe. Quiet discipline teaches a different skill. Notice first. Adjust early. Protect long before damage speaks. High blood sugar rarely takes everything at once. It takes small pieces, quietly, over time. It takes your morning clarity first. You wake up, but you don't feel sharp. Your body is up. Your mind is slow. You need more caffeine just to feel normal. Then it takes your steady energy. Not exhaustion, just inconsistency. Some hours you're fine. Some hours you crash. You stop trusting your own rhythm, then it takes your patience. Blood sugar swings affect mood more than most men realize. Shorter temper, less tolerance, more irritation over small things. You think it's stress. Your family feels something else. Then it takes your sleep. You fall asleep tired, but wake up unrested. Your body never fully resets. Recovery becomes shallow, and slowly it takes something deeper. Confidence, not the loud kind, the quiet. A grounded confidence that comes from feeling stable in your own body. You start second-guessing yourself. Your decisions feel heavier. Your resilience feels thinner. None of this feels dramatic. That's why it's ignored. High blood sugar doesn't make a man weak overnight. It makes him less consistent. And consistency is the foundation of masculine leadership. A man who can't rely on his energy can't lead steadily. A man who can't trust his focus can't think long-term. A man who feels off, without knowing why, slowly disconnects from himself. This is the quiet cost. Not disease yet, not crisis yet, just erosion. Quiet discipline teaches us to protect what creates stability before instability becomes visible. Because once blood sugar starts taking from you loudly, it has already taken enough. Most men trust their feelings. If they feel strong, they assume they are healthy. If they feel capable, they assume they're in control. If nothing hurts, they assume nothing is wrong. But discipline doesn't live in feelings. It lives in systems. Blood sugar is one of those systems that doesn't care how you feel today. It reflects what you've been doing repeatedly, quietly, over months and years. Feeling good is temporary. Numbers are honest. A man can feel fine while his blood sugar is training his body in the wrong direction. This is where many strong men make a mistake. They treat monitoring as weakness. They treat measurement as anxiety. They treat prevention as something extra. But quiet discipline works the opposite way. Strong men don't wait for pain to force discipline. They use discipline to avoid pain. Measuring blood sugar isn't obsession. It's feedback. Just like checking your finances doesn't mean you're broke, checking your numbers means you're responsible. You don't steer a car by guessing the speed. You don't manage money by feeling rich. And you don't manage health by feeling okay. Discipline means knowing where you stand, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Blood sugar numbers don't judge you. They don't shame you. They don't care about your past. They simply report your patterns. And patterns are adjustable. Quiet men understand this. They don't argue with data. They don't personalize it. They use it. A man who measures stays ahead of decline. A man who refuses to measure waits for decline to announce itself. Quiet discipline chooses the first path. Not loudly, not anxiously, just consistently. Quiet discipline never looks extreme. It doesn't count every gram. It doesn't panic over one bad meal. It doesn't turn life into a medical project. It focuses on control, not perfection. Strong men don't need complicated rules. They need repeatable standards. Controlling blood sugar starts with understanding one thing. Spikes matter more than totals. It's not about never enjoying food. It's about avoiding repeated shock to the system. So quiet men adjust patterns, not personalities. They eat slower. They stop eating late. They walk after meals. They reduce liquid sugar without drama. They sleep earlier, more consistently. No speeches, no guilt, no heroics, just alignment. They build meals that don't hijack energy. They choose routines that stabilize mood. They move enough to remind the body how to process fuel. And most importantly, they stay calm. Obsession creates stress. Stress worsens blood sugar. Quiet discipline keeps the nervous system steady. This is not about living like a patient. It's about living like a leader. A leader doesn't react emotionally to numbers. He responds methodically. When numbers rise, he adjusts behavior. When numbers improve, he maintains rhythm. No celebration, no shame, just consistency. This approach lasts because it respects real life. Work stress, family meals, social obligations, aging. Quiet men don't fight reality. They design discipline that fits inside it. And that's why it works. Strong men don't wait for pain to speak. They respect the quiet signals. Blood sugar doesn't demand attention, it waits, and it keeps score. Quiet discipline is understanding that what you ignore today will return louder tomorrow, not as fear, but as consequence. A disciplined man doesn't panic about numbers. He doesn't deny them either. He checks, he adjusts, he continues. Because leadership begins with self-control, and self-control begins with awareness. You don't protect your family by feeling strong. You protect them by staying stable. Energy that lasts, focus that holds, presence that doesn't fade. Silent numbers don't measure weakness. They measure patterns, and patterns can be changed, quietly. This is not about living longer for ego. It's about staying reliable for the people who depend on you. Strong men don't ignore their blood sugar. They respect it before it demands respect.